What do you think Dr. King would have thought of Donald Trump?
I think just like Dr. King, I think we all have a dream, and this is just fulfilling that legacy even more.
So Donald Trump is, in essence, a continuation of Martin Luther King's dream. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would say that, absolutely, because we all want fair and equal justice, and at the end of the day, that's what Dr. King wanted, and I think that's what President Trump wants as well.
You know, blacks had better lives the 4 years that Donald Trump was in office. I mean, we all did. We all had peace and prosperity.
We better go.
And we felt protected.
Today's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. What do you think Dr. King would think of Donald Trump? Do you think he'd be a supporter?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I do.
And you, ma'am?
Well, I think he would be, but more importantly, I think Martin Luther King stood for being judged by the character and not the color of your skin, which we have completely gone away from.
In what way?
Because everything's about checking a box. If you check a box, you get the job, you get appointed, you fail and you still get promoted. So it's all about a box.
The two blondes reminded me of that. Remember the South Carolina beauty pageant and so on and so forth? And remember the answer the contestant gave, and therefore, I'm just saying that's what it reminded me of. But you know what? There's more. Listen.
What do you think Dr. King would think of the former president?
I believe that he would love him. I mean, he stands up for, all colors, and I don't like to go into the color situation because I'm not racist, but, we've got to bring that forward because, there's been a lot of stuff in the past with people thinking that Trump is racist or the Republican Party's racist, and we're really not.
I think that Dr. King would say, if there's a lie, expose it and don't give up. Even to the point of losing his own life over something that he believed in. And very famous quotes, he changed the world. So
what's your favorite Dr. King quote?
Not the color of your skin, but the content of your character.
What's your favorite Donald Trump quote?
My favorite Trump quote. I don't have one.
Well, I think Martin Luther King thought that people ought to be judged based upon their character and not by their color of their skin. And I think President Trump has been an excellent person for that. I think that he's, the idea that he's somehow racist is it's just absurd. It's absurd.
I think he meant to say the idea that he's not racist is the absurd part. I'm going to give you the rest, but ma'am, I'm not a situation. You called it a situation. You don't want to get into color. That whole situation. I'm not a situation. I can give you a situation, but I'm not a situation. Okay. And about this whole thing about Trump's character, I would love it if you would judge the content. Okay. I'd love it if you judge the character. We'd be good if you would do that. During a TYT field shoot for the Iowa caucus on Monday, January 15th, Michael Shure spoke with Trumpers. Those two are the ones that remind me, and so on and so forth, and therefore, and has been the beauty pageant. But I shouldn't even lump the beauty pageant young lady from South Carolina in with them. Trumpers who believed MLK would have been a Trump voter because he would have judged him by the content of his character, not the color of his skin. Well, this is foolishness, Mayor, and I think, we know that. Buying into the big lie is what MAGA is doing. Exposing the lie is what we're trying to do. Okay, Dr. Richey asked us to fill in today to expose the lie. What they're doing, Mayor, is purchasing and buying into the lie. And I thought that was pretty clear. But apparently not to everyone. I believe those people are indoctrinated. I'll give you that. I don't think they were lying. I think they're indoctrinated. Mr. Situation. Okay, what say you?
Listen, here's the problem. Our white brothers and sisters like to love the quote king. Let me remind everybody the year, August 1966. 6 out of 10 Americans could not stand Dr. King. His approval rating was 33% in August of 1966. Right now, these people still can't stand the principles Dr. King stood for. We know that because they support Trump and all of his policies. Dr. King was out here fighting for the alien, for the least amongst us. These people don't care about the least amongst us because Trump's policies tell us that. So regardless of what they say with their words, And the misuse of the content of character, not the color of their skin, quote, is absolutely dastardly to me. It's disgusting. That is in response to how Black people were being treated because we were Black. This idea that you can lose and still get the job, it plays into this idea, not just in Iowa, but in America, that white people feel like they are more discriminated, that they are losing something, when all of the social markers in this world tell them they're still doing better than Black people in this country. All social markers. So this idea that they are losing something is the idea that equity is becoming closer to reality, and they don't want to accept that. The idea that equal means something. Even calling for MAGA speaks against what Dr. King stood for. Make America great again. King said America gave Black people a unsatisfactory check, a unfulfilled check, a check that bounced because they didn't give us equity. They said the words, there's not been a time in America where we've been closer to equity than we are now, and we're still not there. So to go back to a time is to hearken on an idea that you wanted when white people were closer to being full and the rest of the people were not. Now, let me remind you all, these people are in Iowa. Iowa is the third worst place to be Black in America. Only led by Illinois and Wisconsin, Wisconsin being number one. 25%, only 25% of people in Iowa are homeowners. 25%. Black people in Iowa are the poorest people in Iowa. Overwhelmingly. So let's not pretend Black people are more likely to be in prison in Iowa than any other race in that state. So their idea of King principles or King supporting Trump, hell, King wouldn't even have supported your state.
That part, that historical lesson, that truthful lesson, Mayor, we thank you for that. And you used the word at the beginning of your lesson, disgusting. And I concur. It is particularly disgusting at this time as we mourn a little boy whose father was assassinated, whose father belonged to the people. Dexter King is now hopefully at peace and not suffering in the arms of his mother and father. And I don't want to hear this trash talk from clueless white people in Iowa. Quickly, Mayor, tell us a little bit about Dexter and what we should be focusing on with Dr. King's legacy.
Yeah, real quick, Dexter King was the youngest of the King's 3 kids. And as you said, he died from prostate cancer recently. And we should definitely remember that while he was not known or the giant that his father was, does not mean his life didn't have meaning and civil rights and equity. And a member of being a drum major was not a part of what he did. So we should definitely remember him for who his parents were, both his parents, giants, but also for the work that he did and the life that he lived as he pursued Black equity throughout this horrible, horrible place we call America.
We need King's legacy more now than ever. Hearts go out to the King family at this devastating time. Dexter was only 62. Mayor,